Hey, what's going on everybody, Gesha here and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be attempting to quote-unquote remaster GTA San Andreas using a bunch of mods, and we will be trying to take everything that the game already is and improving it. That means that we won't only do graphics and map retexture, but also touch on pets, vehicles, physics, AI and whatever else we can. As always, all of the mods will be in the description under a pastebin link, plus additional instructions. Please read those as they are very important, and otherwise you'll probably just break your game or get stuck. By the way, I'm not the creator of any of the mods shown in this video, with the only exception being a texture file that I modified and uploaded for you guys. But yeah, otherwise that's about it, let's begin. Starting with the graphics, I'll be using a combination of the famous San Andreas DirectX 2.0 and the newly released Cloudworks that adds actual volumetric clouds into the game. To make your visuals look like mine though, you first need to make a couple of tweaks. So click shift and enter, and first thing I do is turn off completely the color correction as it adds too much contrast. Then turn off the sky as you don't need it but it causes transparency issues. Then under lighting, tune down the sky saturation to something more natural and the pet glow effect to something less extreme. Under the vehicle shader, turn off the chrome effect as it creates visual bugs and it doesn't look good. I also prefer to lower the glass reflection. This is also now using the newest version of ENB, meaning that there's now complex shadows, which are probably the most sophisticated ones that we've had in GTA San Andreas. If you're going to use them, I'd highly recommend lowering their quality as they are extremely heavy, and the same can be done for the ambient occlusion. But yeah, this is the final ENB configuration that I'm using, and I think it looks very natural while still being eye candy. For the map, I'm going for Rosa Project Reborn plus an AI upscale for the remaining textures that the original mod authors never changed. So anyway, with this map mod you would pretty much have all of the game textures in higher quality, including interiors, in some of which you'll definitely see the difference. Plus it also features some texture fixes, which is great. Now Rosa Project vegetation is not all that bad, but we will add our own. Insanity vegetation is a great choice, but you should know that in combination with Project 2D effects that we'll later add, the game crashes near Mount Chiliad. That's really not that big of a deal, but for the sake of compatibility, in this video I'll use another classic vegetation, Behind Spaces of Reality, which is just as detailed and fitting for the game. Also, since they depict the same location, I'm also adding GTA 5 traffic and street light, the Vinewood sign and the tower behind it, the rotating Ferris wheel with dynamic lights, and finally different telegraph poles. For this one I have modified one of the mods files myself so you can install it for a cleaner result. A few more smaller things that we'll add are a remastered CJ house, high poly donuts for the donut shops, and two mods for map fixes like bad pre-light, wrong placement and restoration of cut objects. And since this part is not only about the map but also the environment, the birds update will significantly improve the different types of birds flying in the sky. Up close they still won't look that amazing, but you won't be going that close to them, so they're good enough. And for the optional mods in this section we have Project Props, and honestly the only reason why this is optional is because it's very demanding. Otherwise it will add a ton of props all around the map, mostly in Los Santos, like garbage, containers, vegetation and many more. Continuing on with pets and characters, there's currently nothing better than the Vadus Pets pack, which not only retextures but also remodels all nearly 300 pets in the game in higher quality while keeping the original style and look. Not only those walking on the streets but also those in restaurants, barber shops and many more. For CJ, Insanity CJ is just a no-brainer considering how well it's made. The new model is incredibly well detailed while still resembling vanilla CJ, it has redone haircuts and tattoos and supports both the muscular and fat models. Sadly, only a handful of the clothes were remade and adapted to the CJ, so you won't have a lot of options to choose from. There is also a version with an AI upscale for the rest of the clothing, but I found this one to be really buggy and not work most of the time, so it's your choice as to which version you prefer to use. And for the other characters in the game, I would usually point you at Insanity again, but they require the use of Pet Specular, which looks awful in combination with ENB, not to mention that it ruins the rest of the pedestrians as well. So you just have to settle for some other character retexture mod, considering of course that you're planning on doing missions, otherwise it doesn't matter. Starting with vehicles first, the only global vehicle replacement pack that sticks close to vanilla vehicles is the 90s Atmosphere Vehicle Pack version 2. With this one, all of the vehicles in the game will be replaced with ones in higher quality, even some that you might never see. And some fit very well, others not so much. Different vehicles also come with their own unique vehicle damage, and for tuning parts there's new paint jobs and rims, but sadly the rest of the tuning parts are mostly messed up. I also found this really awesome handling that's supposedly imitating GTA 5 handling, but it's honestly just so much better than that. It will make the vehicles feel heavier but not too much, so you can still make turns fairly easily. It will also add a decent amount of car body roll for additional realism. And for the weapons, I'm of course once again using the Insanity ones because they look great. They also include things like a new armor pickup and better looking jetpack. Additionally, someone also converted them to cutscenes, so now you can enjoy them there as well. Finally, we come to the scripts, and I'll begin with the previously mentioned Project 2D effects, which will increase the draw distance for lights at night, which will of course make them more realistic and the cities better looking. It also increases the general draw distance of objects so they don't just pop out of nowhere, like is the case with trees. And if you wanted to, you could go pretty extreme with it as it was shown in the beginning of this video, but that will kill the sense of scale in the game. Next is a very impressive ragdolls mod that will greatly improve in-game physics by removing the static game animations. It works surprisingly well, but don't expect miracles or too much realism from it, because in a lot of cases pets act more like cartoon characters than real people, but it's still so much better than the static poses that they do otherwise. Another script is the GTA 4/GTA 5 style pickups, so pets will now drop their weapons and money on the ground instead of them floating in the air. Going over them to pick them up will also play a small animation, which is a nice touch. Real Pet Overhaul will dramatically improve pedestrians by giving them a variety of new possibilities and things to do. You're going to see them eat different foods, read things, talk on the phone, get in a taxi. At night you might see some of them out drinking or being drunk, and many more. One thing in the game that is very lifeless are the airports, so air traffic realism will make them active, with planes taken on and off there, and you can of course see them fly across the map. Another important feature is Fair Police, which will allow cops to react to other pets' actions and not only to the players' ones as it was before. Now if they see someone hit you, they will attack them with their batons, and if someone shoots at you, cops will start shooting at them as well. Final major script that we'll add is robbery mod, so you can now go into a store, aim your weapon at the cashier and they will either shoot you or give you the money. Either way, you're getting 2 stars. For the optional mods here we have Sieve Density, which will increase the amount of pets and traffic on the streets at the cost of some performance. Fixed invisible foods for vendors and restaurants, and Flying Stuff, which will add things like leaves and papers in the air and other particles for added realism. Also, if you are using mix sets like I would recommend, you can also disable cars catching fire when they are flipped. For the effects and particles, I'm using a combination of GTA 5 effects and Project Overhaul. For audio, there really isn't anything all that fitting for the game, but once again, Insanity should do a pretty good job. And again for audio, although a script is San Andreas ambient sounds, which adds more than 100 ambient sounds into the game and all around the map, which are fully dynamic. But I won't be spending time on this mod because I have a video on it that you can watch through the link in the description or in the upper right corner. Finally, let's talk about the interface, and all you really need here is the Atmosphere interface pack, which will literally replace all of the interfaces in the game with better looking ones while keeping the original style. The only thing that I like to change here is the menu and load screens with better looking ones, and the map icons with vanilla ones instead of mobile. And since it's also part of the interface, you can also include the remastered intros. But yeah guys, with all of these mods combined, we have pretty much tackled and transformed every part of GTA San Andreas, hopefully for the better. More stuff could be added, but we are already pushing the game way past its limits, so I think this is good enough. Anyway, now I'll finally quit talking and show you some gameplay. Enjoy.
¡Viva idiotas! ¡Move! Take the safest route possible.
What did you expect? It's America.
You're wrinkling my suit.
Ah, you so kind.
Hey, everything you got at